My best friend is passionate about beauty treatments. She spent millions at beauty salons over 3 years, and even tried a blood replacement therapy. I consulted a doctor and learned that this procedure requires dialysis to perform. I kindly informed my friend and advised her not to continue. She listened to me and, with my help, successfully started her own business. However, her husband, who loved her deeply for many years, later cheated on her with a young and beautiful college student. She blamed me for years and, in the end, on the day I gave birth, she stabbed me to death. Beauty comes from money, especially for women over 25. If you hadn't stopped me from doing the blood replacement, I wouldn't have aged. One body, 2 lives lost. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day she mentioned doing the blood replacement therapy. This time, I chose to stay silent. I had been reborn on the day my best friend invited me to try the blood replacement therapy. At a class reunion, my friend Serena was proudly showing off her skin. I've spent millions on skincare. Now I go for monthly blood replacement treatments. Look at my face. It's as soft as a baby's. Then she pulled out her phone and showed everyone her beauty salon expenses. Blood replacement, 694,000 yen. Hydrating injections, 390,000 yen. Cell health supplements, 310,000 yen. Elegant body sculpting, 264,000 yen. Eyebrow tattoos, 180,000 yen. Private treatments, 8 times 159,000 yen. Everyone was stunned. Someone asked if such frequent blood replacement treatments would harm her body. Another jumped in, warning her about scammy beauty salons. Serena rolled her eyes. What do you know? Beauty requires money, especially for women over 25. Then she didn't forget to drag me down in front of everyone. Haley, all you do is paint. Look at your dull, dirty appearance. Why don't you come with me? In my previous life, she had asked me the same question. Back then, I declined. Later, worried she might be scammed, I consulted a professional doctor. The doctor told me that this procedure can only be done with dialysis and that most beauty salons use it as a marketing ploy. Afterward, I informed Serena and advised her not to go to that salon again. Realizing she had been tricked, she finally decided to escape the trap. But I never expected that in the future. With every argument she had with her husband, she would blame me. Eventually, her husband cheated on her with a young, beautiful college student. Her years of resentment toward me exploded. On the day my water broke, she seized the opportunity when my family wasn't around and stabbed me to death. One body, 2 lives gone. My unborn child and I died together. As my thoughts settled, I looked at Serena's expectant face and smiled, shaking my head. I'm not going. Serena has so much skincare experience, surely, she won't be fooled. Serena was pleased with my compliment. Only my best friend truly understands me. You'll regret it if you don't take care of yourself now and get old. In this second life, I would wait and see how she would regret her choices later. After the class reunion, everyone left, but Serena called out to me. She pulled me into a quiet corner. Haley, my credit card maxed out again this month. I still need to get hydrating injections this week. Can you lend me 20,000 yen? In my previous life, whenever she ran out of money for beauty treatments, she would always borrow from me. Over those years, she accumulated nearly 500,000 yen in debt to me. Whenever I tried to ask for repayment, she would use our friendship as an excuse to avoid paying me back. This time, I wasn't going to be a fool again. I put on a troubled face. Serena, I haven't had a chance to tell you, but I got laid off last month. I only have a few hundred left. Serena was stunned. Then how will I get my beauty treatments? I patted her on the back and suggested, why don't you ask your husband for some money? If he knows you need it urgently, he'll definitely give it to you. Serena reacted strongly, rejecting the idea immediately. I can't ask him for money. I knew she worked hard to maintain the image of a wealthy woman in front of her in-laws. In 2 years of marriage, she had never asked her husband for a dime. But doesn't the company give severance pay for layoffs? She wasn't giving up. I sighed helplessly. We're still in arbitration. Serena's face turned ashen. Then I'll figure something out myself. I nodded and added, I lent you all my savings, so if you could. Before I could finish, Serena dashed off. I've got something to do, let's talk later. The next day, I went to the office to complete my resignation paperwork. After packing up my things and sending them back home, I canceled my apartment lease. Late at night, I took the last bus out of New York. I didn't want to repeat the same mistakes, nor did I have the courage to face my murderer again. When I got home and saw my parents, the tears I had held back finally flowed. They thought I had been wronged at work and rushed to comfort me. When Serena found out I had left New York, it was 3 months later, one evening. I answered the phone, but it was her husband's voice. "Haley, Serena has a rash on her face tonight. Can you come take her to the hospital?" In my previous life, Serena and her husband would always call me whenever something happened. I treated Serena as my closest friend and always did whatever I could to help, but not this time. I finished eating a delicious skewer and took a sip of milk tea before replying casually, "Rocky, I'm not in New York right now, I can't make it." Rocky panicked and blurted out, "What? Then what about Serena? What about her? Let her figure it out." Serena overheard our conversation and came over, her voice trembling with tears. "Haley, where are you? My face broke out in rashes again, they hurt and itch, I'm so scared." "Serena, don't worry. Didn't you get regular blood replacement treatments? Your body should be fine." I tossed the problem back to her. Serena oddly seemed relieved and kept mumbling, reassuring herself. Yes, my body is fine." But Rocky was suspicious. "Honey, are you sure this blood replacement therapy is safe? Maybe we should go to the hospital." Serena became furious at being questioned. "I just had seafood tonight. I've been doing blood replacement for so long, my body can't be harmed." Rocky didn't expect her to react so strongly. "I'm just trying to look out for you." Serena didn't care that there were others listening and shouted at him. "You don't understand, so don't speak. You didn't even finish high school, and you dare question me, a college graduate? You and your whole family are country bumpkins." I couldn't help but chuckle. Insulting others is one thing, but she just insulted herself too. Luckily, they were too busy arguing to hear my laughter. Rocky kept apologizing. I'm sorry. As they argued, I relaxed, enjoying my midnight snack. By the time Serena finished venting, her rash had spread all over her body. I was woken up by a phone call from Serena right around noon. She hadn't gone to the hospital for treatment. Just like in my past life, she went back to that shady beauty salon. The methods there were bizarre. They gave her a luxury treatment package. First, they had her soak in ice water for therapy, then drink a bowl of pitch-black herbal medicine, claiming it was a secret recipe. Finally, they did another round of blood exchange therapy. This whole ordeal cost her another $40,000 or $50,000. But surprisingly, it worked. Her rashes started to fade. Serena vividly described her experience and even sent me a video. In the video, she was shivering in a wooden tub, her teeth chattering loudly. Seeing this scene, I couldn't help but laugh. In my previous life, whenever Serena broke out in rashes from excessive beauty treatments, I advised her to seek proper medical attention. She always mocked me, saying I was as ignorant as Rocky, and added, "Specialized problems require specialized solutions. Skin issues should be treated at a beauty salon." What she didn't realize was that this shady salon didn't even have a license, and the staff were unqualified, barely educated practitioners. Good advice can't save someone determined to destroy themselves. In this life, I won't intervene in her fate. Let her suffer the consequences of her actions. For the next few days, Serena kept going back to the salon for so-called treatments. After about a week, her rashes finally disappeared, but Serena was overjoyed, convinced that it was the blood exchange therapy that worked. She immediately posted a video on social media, boasting about the benefits of the procedure. Someone quickly left a comment, "Blood exchange therapy is only possible with dialysis. It's not a beauty treatment." My heart skipped a beat, wondering if this life's trajectory would change because of that comment. But Serena wasn't swayed. She replied with a lengthy and passionate response. "I knew the internet was full of ignorant people. Did you go to college? Are you a doctor? If you don't know anything, don't talk nonsense. I'm sharing my experience to help more people, and you, as a troll, must be living a miserable life to vent your anger online." The commenter was so intimidated they deleted their comment. But Serena didn't stop there. She even rallied her clueless followers to cyberbully that person. I couldn't stand it anymore. I planned to message the commenter privately, only to find out they had already deleted their account. Serena was both foolish and cunning. Sensing a business opportunity, she began sharing more about her beauty treatments on social media and even formed a fan group to bring them to the salon. She earned massive referral fees and was making a fortune. I quietly marked her videos as not interested and switched platforms to watch my favorite anime. The night was long. I was curious to see how the karma she sowed would come back to her. In this life, I still met and fell in love with my previous husband through my parents' introduction. The difference was that I successfully gave birth to a beautiful, lovely daughter. 2 years later, my husband said he wanted to visit relatives in New York. After some hesitation, I left our child with my in-laws and decided to go with him. Perhaps it was fate, but I ran into Serena while buying gifts at the supermarket. At first glance, I almost didn't recognize her. It was the middle of summer, but she was wrapped head to toe, wearing a knit hat and a mask, with only a pair of lifeless eyes visible. She excitedly called my name and invited my husband and me to a nearby cafe. I didn't let my husband come, I went alone. Serena chose a secluded corner and, after making sure no one was around, carefully removed her mask. I was stunned. Her face was deathly pale, like a corpse, and her cheeks were covered in tiny needle marks. But Serena didn't seem to mind. She even spoke with pride. Last month, the salon introduced a new injectable that's supposed to prevent aging. I'm their poster girl now. I was the first to try it. I've also been keeping up with the blood exchange therapy. Look at my skin, so white and tender, practically flawless. She suddenly leaned in close to show me her face. Startled, I almost spat out my coffee. I wiped the corner of my mouth and smiled, saying truthfully, "It's very white," but it was the kind of white that reminded me of a ghost from a horror movie. Her skin's fragility was clearly a sign of a severely damaged skin barrier, and judging by her condition, her overall health had likely suffered irreparable damage. Serena ordered a table full of food and even pushed a dessert toward me. I remember back in college, you loved sweets. She smiled warmly at me, but I found it unsettling. When someone is overly nice without reason, it's never good. Sure enough, the next moment she said, "Haley, I'm planning to invest in a new beauty project with a 70% return. There are only 2 spots left to partner up. Don't say I didn't give you a heads up." Serena was once again trying to make me her sucker. I recalled in my past life, by this point, she had already turned her life around with my help. I spent money enrolling her in various interest classes, accompanying her to yoga, flower arranging, and baking. To my surprise, she had a knack for baking and enjoyed it. Eventually, with my assistance, she opened multiple bakeries, even building her own franchise. In just 2 years, she paid off all her debts, drove a Mercedes, and lived in a villa. I never imagined she would kill me on the day I gave birth. When the knife pierced my body, I heard her crazed voice. "It's all your fault. If you hadn't stopped me from doing beauty treatments, I wouldn't be old and ugly. If you hadn't made me open those bakeries, my husband wouldn't hate me for smelling like bread, and he wouldn't have left me for that hussy." Only then did I understand that every bit of help I had given her became the fuel for her resentment. As my thoughts returned to the present, I shook my head and said, "I don't know much about business, but with your abilities, I'm sure you'll find someone to partner with and succeed. Right, Serena?" Hearing my flattery, Serena beamed with pride. "Of course. With my investment skills, earning a fortune is a piece of cake." I smiled faintly. I was curious to see how far she could go this time without my help. Serena quickly found 2 gullible fans from her group and pooled $3 million to invest in the salon, but the returns she expected never came. Months passed, and there wasn't a single penny in profit. Those 2 fans eventually showed up at Serena's house, causing a huge scene. Apparently, the entire neighborhood witnessed the drama. Rocky, her husband, was so scared he didn't dare go home, using a work trip as an excuse to flee the city. Serena was in a panic, afraid the situation would escalate, so she went to the salon to demand answers. The salon fed her one excuse after another, and once again, she fell for their lies. She didn't realize the whole thing was a scam from the start. Late one night, she somehow found my new number and called me again. "Haley, there's a little problem with my project. Could you lend me $50,000 to help me through this?" She was still as presumptuous as ever. I sighed into the phone, pretending to be in a difficult spot. "Serena, it's not that I don't want to help you. I don't have a job right now, and I'm living off my husband. All our money goes to his parents, and I'm barely scraping by myself. I remember I lent you some money before." Before I could finish, the line went dead. "Who was that?" My husband woke up groggily. I lay back down and calmly replied, "Just a scam call." I picked up my paintbrush again and started posting serialized comics on social media. 3 months later, a company in New York invited me to collaborate. In my previous life, for Serena's career, I not only put down my brush, but also gave up opportunities for my own growth. My dedication and sacrifices were never appreciated, and in return, I was brutally killed. In this life, I will not waste myself for so-called friendships. My family is very supportive of my career, and my husband is even willing to give up his stable job to follow me to New York to pursue our dreams. So, smoothly, I brought my child and husband back to New York. The next time I heard Serena's name was at the year-end high school reunion. Serena didn't come, but her many spectacular stories became the focus of our classmates' conversations. Did Serena strike it rich and is now avoiding us? She was always the most eager to attend these reunions. Alice smiled nonchalantly and sipped her juice, teasingly saying, "Come on, there's no way she struck it rich." Someone immediately picked up on her tone, and everyone began eagerly asking questions. "Looks like you know a lot, huh? We're all old classmates, don't keep us in suspense. Tell us, tell us." Alice, who was once Serena's little follower in high school, had always been an unnoticed presence at reunions. Now, basking in this attention, her vanity was fully satisfied. She proudly raised her eyebrows, then slowly shifted her gaze toward me. "Haley, you must know quite a bit about Serena, right?" She and Serena were indeed alike, never missing a chance to probe. I saw through her little game and smiled, shaking my head. "I haven't been in contact with her for a long time." Alice, reassured that I wouldn't tattle to Serena, began to spill the story. As expected, Serena's investment had failed. That shady beauty salon had run off. Not only does she have to repay the $3 million she co-invested, but she also has to compensate for the memberships she lured her fans into buying. The total amount comes to $6 million. Serena has no money to pay it back, so she's been hiding, leaving her husband to clean up the mess. Her husband couldn't handle it either and ended up selling their car and house before running away. It truly fits the saying, couples are like birds in the same forest, but they fly their separate ways in times of trouble. The last time Alice saw Serena was just half a month ago. Serena had asked Alice to lend her money for a cosmetic surgery repair. When Alice reached this part, her tone became more excited. "You guys have no idea, her face looks like a ghost now. She used to brag to me about her weekly beauty treatments, but now look at what they did to her." Everyone gasped in shock. After the reunion ended, Alice asked me where I lived, saying she'd give me a lift if it was on her way. I was cautious and vaguely mentioned an area before calling a taxi and leaving, but I didn't expect Serena to find me anyway. On the weekend, my husband and I were about to take our child out to play. As we reached downstairs, a noisy crowd in the distance caught my attention. I saw several security guards surrounding someone completely wrapped up, with many onlookers standing by. It seemed like someone was causing trouble. This is a high-end community, and the security is usually tight, plus the police station is nearby. I didn't think much of it and was about to leave, but then, that person in the crowd shouted loudly at me, "Haley." It was Serena. I didn't dare to turn around and quickly picked up my child, walking briskly in the opposite direction. My husband sensed something was wrong but didn't ask, just following my steps. And Serena, somehow mustering up strength, broke free from the guards and ran over, kneeling before me. The pungent smell of sweat and grime hit my nose, her clothes filthy, and her shoes nearly worn through. "Haley, Haley, I've been looking for you for so long. Please help me, please help me. This is my good friend. She's the one I'm looking for." The security guards rushed over to stop her, but hearing her words, they hesitated and looked at me. "I don't know her," I said coldly. The guards immediately restrained her. Serena panicked and began to cry out desperately. "No, Haley, you can't leave me like this. You said we'd be sisters for life. I have no one left. Please, just let me stay with you." More and more people were gathering to watch. Seeing that I remained unmoved, Serena turned her attention to my child, even trying to rush over to them. "Sweetie, do you remember me? I gave you candy when I visited your kindergarten." In that instant, my disgust and fear reached their peak. She had even secretly approached my child. I wanted nothing more than to stab her, just like she had done to me in my previous life. She had no right to invade my life again, let alone disturb my child. My child, startled by the sudden scene, buried their face in my arms, crying uncontrollably. "It's okay, sweetheart." I tried to calm my breathing, handed the child to my husband, and said evenly, "Honey, take the child upstairs first." I took Serena to a cafe outside. Before we left the community, she kept greedily looking back. I knew exactly what she was thinking. "Haley, you really have to help me. I've hit rock bottom. Those people are going to sue me indiscriminately, and my bank accounts are frozen. The last of my money was used to come find you." Serena wiped her tears while secretly glancing up at my reaction. I simply stared at her calmly. "Look, you're living in a high-end neighborhood now. You must not be short of money. Can't you help me, just for the sake of our past?" Serena added. Since returning to New York, I had only disclosed my general location to Alice. The answer was clear, but Times Square is so big. How could she have found me? So I asked, "How did you find me?" Serena's eyes darted. "Alice told me." Alice wouldn't know. I exposed her lie. Finally, she told the truth. She had seen my latest comic online, recognized the company's name, and tracked down the address. She had been following me for days. In other words, she now knew everything about my life. Cold sweat trickled down my back. Originally, in this life, I only intended to let Serena suffer the consequences of her actions. But now that she posed a threat to my child and me, I couldn't let her go. If you don't help me, I'll stick to you forever. Serena clung to my hand, her desperation reminding me of a venomous snake. I withdrew my hand and said slowly, I can help you, but you have to do exactly as I say. Serena nodded eagerly like a pecking chicken. I'll do whatever you want. I found a rental house in the suburbs for Serena to stay in. But before we even got inside, she started complaining. Just because you live in a nice neighborhood, you think I should stay here? Look at this place. It's not just remote. The house is so shabby. It looks like a slum. Just then, a resident from upstairs walked by. The young man heard her and glanced at her, disdainfully saying, Why don't you take a good look in the mirror before talking? Why don't you sleep under a bridge, you beggar? Hey, who are you calling a beggar? Serena rolled up her sleeves and looked like she wanted to hit him. But the young man, seeing the veins bulging on her pale arm, was so frightened he ran away. Her arm was covered in thick, dark veins, looking like it was crawling with black snakes. Some people just don't know what they're talking about. This is a sign of detoxing. Serena shrugged it off, pulled down her sleeve, and continued to nitpick about the house. Look at the people living around here. Haley, can't you find me a better place? Stay or leave, it's up to you. I coldly tossed out that line and turned to leave, but she grabbed my arm. I'll stay. I'll stay. Can you help me with one more thing? Serena took off her mask, revealing her face covered in festering wounds. I stepped back in shock, nearly gagging. If those wounds weren't treated soon, maggots would likely grow within a week. You see, you're scared too, right? Serena laughed self-deprecatingly, pleading, If I don't get cosmetic surgery soon, my face will really be ruined. Haley, can you lend me $50,000? $30,000 will do. I furrowed my brows, thinking for a few seconds before saying, I don't have that much money right now. You'll have to wait a few days. Serena nodded excitedly and then asked tentatively, Can you give me some money now? I haven't eaten in days. I pulled out the cash I had on me, intending to give her $200, but she snatched the wallet from my hands and greedily started counting the bills. Is this all there is? $136. Serena stared at the handful of crumpled bills in disbelief. Then I remembered, I earned that money yesterday when I took the kids out to experience street vending. I made up an excuse. This is my leftover grocery money for this month. Her gaze toward me was complex, a mix of sympathy and contempt. But she still took the stack of bills. When I get back on my feet, I won't forget you. I didn't respond. She would never have that day. As soon as I got home, the community manager came to my door with a gift box. He apologized for what happened today, promising to enhance security in the future. I sent him a photo of Serena, claiming she was mentally ill and could threaten resident safety at any time. Only then did the manager take me seriously, adding Serena to the monitoring blacklist and increasing security patrols with 3 teams. After he left, my daughter woke up. I held her for a long time, comforting her, and then began educating her, telling her to find a police officer if she ever encountered that weird aunt again, and that she must always be with her parents when going out. My husband listened quietly beside us. Once my daughter fell asleep again, I told him about the events of my past life. His reaction surprised me. He didn't think I was rambling. Instead, he held me tightly, asking about my past life while comforting me. I felt grateful and began to cherish this chance at a new life even more. I couldn't let Serena ruin me or my loved ones. The next day, I called in sick at work. Just then, Rocky contacted me. Haley, do you know where Serena is now? I was silent for a few seconds and cautiously asked, Why do you want to find her? My reaction undoubtedly suggested I was hiding something. He got anxious and his tone shifted from polite to urgent. Just tell me where she is. I need to find her urgently. I won't tell you unless you explain why you're looking for her. I replied slowly. Rocky couldn't win against me, so he finally told me. I'm looking for her to get a divorce. She pretends to be a rich second generation, but she's in deep debt. I can't clean up this mess. He was about to say more when a young woman's voice suddenly came through on the other end. Rocky, what are you doing on the balcony? I instantly realized, it seemed that in my past life, Rocky's affair happened sooner. Smoking. I'll be right there. Rocky shouted back, then quickly turned to me. Send me her address. I have to go now. Beep beep beep. The call ended. I chuckled, edited Serena's address, and hit send. In the evening, Serena called me over a dozen times. She even sent me threatening texts. "If you don't answer, I'll come find you. I'll find your daughter." I leisurely finished my dinner and bought a takeout meal before driving to Serena's place. The door was slightly ajar, so I pushed it open and saw the inside was a complete mess, garbage and broken glass everywhere, and the couch was overturned. Serena was sitting in a corner, crying. Her hair was a tangled mess, and her face and body were covered in deep purple bruises. I suppressed a smile and just stood at the door watching. When Serena saw me, she rushed over and cried, "Haley, why didn't you answer the phone? I'm going crazy. You have to give me money." As she spoke, Serena clung to my leg, crying. "Rocky wants a divorce. He saw my face. I have to get surgery right away. I can't lose him. It's too late to get surgery now. You don't have anywhere to go for that. Just eat something first." I handed her the takeout box. Starved all day, Serena devoured the food like a ravenous dog, opening the box and hungrily digging in. "Where's the trash can?" I lifted a stack of advertising papers I was holding, glancing around the room casually. "I wonder who stuck those ads on my car." Serena stared intently at the advertising papers in my hand, where the words "low-interest loans" were clearly visible. After a long silence, she finally looked away. "Just put them on the table. I'll clean up later." "All right." After a few meaningless exchanges of concern, I left. But I was sure Serena's attention had already been diverted elsewhere. Serena hadn't come to find me for nearly 2 months. The private detective reported her activities, and I learned she had visited an unlicensed beauty salon 6 times, and checked into a hotel with a man 13 times. She was living quite freely. When I saw her again, it was on my phone. Her face, covered in sores, held up her ID as she took naked pictures, no censorship. Soon, the high school classmates group exploded. Everyone learned about Serena's nude loan incident, but that wasn't enough. I put down my work, opened the fan rights protection group I had infiltrated, and shared Serena's address. I added, "I found out where she is." Before I could say more, people in the group immediately responded, eager to team up to collect debts. All night, the notification sounds rang incessantly, with videos of fans confronting Serena flooding in. I rarely stayed up late, but I enjoyed watching the videos. At first, the fans were relatively polite, only shouting at Serena to pay back the money. But Serena's attitude was too arrogant. She yelled, "I've spent all the money. If you're capable, come in and kill me." The fans were thoroughly enraged and brought tools to break in. Serena immediately backed down, begging for mercy. But it was useless. Having long undergone so-called external blood transfusions, her body was already weak. And with 50 or 60 people beating her, she had no ability to fight back. Soon, her cries for mercy were drowned out by the sounds of violent blows, and the chaotic scene was filled with a strong smell of blood. In the early morning, over a dozen police cars and ambulances arrived at the building where Serena lived. It was said that when Serena was lifted onto the ambulance, she was still muttering about needing to go to the beauty salon for repairs. Serena spent a day and a night in the ICU, and after lying in the intensive care unit for half a month, she was finally moved to a regular ward. When I arrived at the hospital, Rocky was there as well. In the ward, the man's curses were incessant. "Now the whole world has seen your nude photos. Relatives and colleagues are laughing behind their hands. How am I supposed to face anyone? Look at you now, half dead. You might as well just die to spare me the hassle of a divorce." About half an hour later, the patrolling medical staff passed by and finally drove Rocky away. He froze for a moment when he saw me at the door, but without saying a word, he stormed off in anger. I entered the ward holding a bouquet of white chrysanthemums. Serena was covered in various tubes, her body and face wrapped in thick white bandages, lying on the bed, barely alive, with the air filled with the smell of disinfectant and feces. I pinched my nose in disgust, admiring Rocky for being able to stay there so long. Serena was very agitated, her vacant eyes darting around, but she couldn't speak because she was wearing an oxygen mask. I smiled and asked, "Is it painful?" Serena became more agitated, giving me a pleading look. My smile grew wider. "I was once as desperate as you are. I sought help from you, but what did you do?" Serena looked confused. "You stabbed me to death." She shook her head frantically, but after a long moment, she finally recalled the events of the previous life. I nodded in satisfaction. "Good, now you know what you've done. So, I won't save you. I wish you'd lie in that hospital bed with a urine bag for the rest of your life. Serena's expression turned to one of terror, and she began to cry out in despair. I turned to leave, and as I passed the corner of the stairs, I heard several medical staff discussing Serena's condition. I saw her video before, and I kindly commented to tell her not to do that external blood transfusion health treatment anymore. But she united with netizens to curse me. Now it's better. Her internal organs are seriously failing, and there are toxins in her blood that can't be detected. She probably won't survive this month. Oh right, it's also karma. She was beaten by that group of crazy women. Her hands and feet were broken, and the baby in her belly was violently aborted just 1 month ago. I was taken aback. Then it seemed I had settled the score with her. In this life, without any so-called friendship to hinder me, my career developed smoothly. My latest serialized comic became a hit, and countless offers came my way. The company I currently work for, in order to keep me, not only promoted me to management, but also offered me a hefty annual salary. At the end of the year, a company approached us for a collaboration meeting. I represented my side and attended the meeting. Coincidentally, the other company sent Alice. Alice nervously observed my expressions while explaining the proposal on stage. I smiled at her kindly. She finally relaxed and spoke more freely. After the meeting, Alice stopped me. Haley, we've been classmates for so many years. You should give me this face, right? What kind of face did she have? I maintained my friendly smile. We'll give a response within 3 days. Alice panicked and blocked my way. No. Haley, please don't hold a grudge against me because of Serena. She forced me back then. So she still remembered this. I played dumb and looked at her. What matter? Alice felt like she hit a wall, and she resorted to the pity card. I really need this job now. If this project fails, not only will I get fired, but my whole family will suffer. Please do me this favor. I will seriously consider what you said, but now there are other companies competing. The company will choose the best option. Alice wanted to say more. At that moment, a colleague happened to pass by, and I quickly called him, slipping away without looking back. The next day, I had my secretary send Alice a rejection email. Not long after, I saw news of Alice's resignation in my social circle. She even paired it with a sarcastic comment. Bad people will get their just desserts. This sounded more like her confession. Back then, because of her one sentence, my family and I nearly faced disaster. And now I just said one sentence. This was fair. As night fell, I returned home from work, only to find the house shrouded in darkness. Suddenly, footsteps approached from afar. I instinctively tensed up. In the next second, joyful birthday songs filled the air. I saw my husband and daughter pushing a small dining cart toward me, topped with a lovely big cake. Mom, happy birthday. My daughter leaped into my arms, and my husband smiled warmly at me. In the candlelight, the three of us blew out the candles together. I thought I should let go of the past and start a new life.